Are we rolling?
All right. Down we go.
This is Radio Tetris International, Postcard from Poprad.
I think it's a bizarre idea.
Well, it doesn't sound broken.
We've had a bit of a rewind.
Ian, I've got something to say. I was waiting for my moment.
Lee and I have lots of fun when we do these funny little things that we do.
In all honesty, I don't get
It'd
it.
be like a menage a trois.
I'm actually sitting here in my scanties.
Now see what you've done, Rachel.
I've got to tell you, though, it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not. It's because you mended the studio and you broke everything.
What an idiot.
RTI.
You broke... I didn't break everything.
You did?
Look.
Look, let's show the boys and girls. What's that?
How are they going to see that in the car?
Because they're on there.
No.
Well, to anybody else who can't see it, it's a table leg. The table leg he mended, which I'm now waving around the studio.
And you're not even talking into your microphone either.
I don't have to.
It's very he normally sits here, boys and girls, and he wiggles the microphone around. It drives me nuts.
There you are.
And then today he's doing nothing.
I've just wiggled it.
Anyway, good afternoon, one and all. Nice sunny week here in Poprad. The mosquitoes are out biting.
Oh, God.
You know what mosquitoes live on, don't you?
Me?
Rotten meat.
Oh, thank you very much. I've got... Do you know how many bites I've got? 12. One right on my knee.
You're a very slow computer.
I've got what?
You're a very slow computer if you only got 12 bytes. Anyway, Paul's got it wrong. He says, hello, you too. Dave, what have you got to say to that?
I'm gutted.
You're gutted.
Are you?
Indeed I am.
Like a big
Although
fish.
I'm quite concerned that Lee's breaking the place.
Well, what do you expect? What do you expect?
Have you had a mosquito bite recently, Dave?
Well, I did get bitten at the end of August on my leg, and I ended up in A&E because it sort of swelled up.
Really? Why? What bit you? A woman?
No, I don't know what bit me. It was something in the garden. It was the first time I'd ever done any gardening, and I haven't done any since.
Hang on a minute. News of the day, Dave's done gardening.
Yeah, but he gave up when he got bit. Never done it again.
Oh, blimey, I haven't put the chat room on. Oh, sorry,
no.
people.
Oh, dear, that's going to be trouble.
See what I mean, Dave?
dear.
Broken legs, everything, and he can't
It's
even switch a
disgraceful.
chat
I mean-
room on.
What?
I didn't even get the memo saying that we had to wear black.
Yeah,
Hey.
black. Look.
What?
Well, yeah, you two are both in black,
Oh, we
and
are,
I turned
aren't we?
in a
Yeah,
white
rock and roll
t-shirt.
mode. Rock and roll mode, dear.
Oh, right.
He's in
sorry.
Star Wars mode, of course.
Well, was that
That's
to
fair
it?
enough.
That
Yeah.
shirt doesn't look like stars. It looks like you've got really bad dandruff.
Thank you so much.
He has.
I really appreciate that. Not. What numpty. I'm just not going to talk to anybody now.
All right,
I'm
right,
gonna
that's
sulk.
it. We're not talking to anybody, Dave.
Oh,
you can
right.
take some.
So Eric's not going to talk to anybody, so it's just you and me then, Lee.
Well, this is
Yeah,
true.
that'll do.
I'm going to say hello to Sandra.
Oh, listen, he's back.
Hello, Sandra. How are you? First in today. Sandra was first in.
Where's Sandra from?
I think she's from Spain.
Are you in Spain, Sandra?
I think so.
Ooh,
think she
whereabouts
said
in
so.
Spain? Tell
I think
us.
she said, the Cobra's in. Hello, mate.
Is that a snake?
Well,
Or a can of beer?
no, he's a bloke.
Ooh, rather it was a can
I
of
thought
beer.
it was going to be a really cool car then.
Meep Meep's there.
Nick.
Meep Meep.
Who's that?
Meep Meep. I don't know who Meep Meep is.
What does it stand for?
I don't know. How am I supposed to know all these things? Paul has said, Lee looks a bit worried. Is he okay?
A bit worried.
No. He's never okay, Paul.
No, I'm very emotional at the moment, Paul.
Oh, heck.
Well, no, because we were talking before about Mick Jagger performing Goodbye Ruby Tuesday. And I was explaining to Eric, I actually saw him performing that live and playing piano. And it made me a bit weepy. And I've stayed a bit weepy ever since.
All right. Paul said, Anne and I both got bitten in Spain this week. Very painful.
Good.
Tell Dave to take the bandages off. The Invisible Man costume works.
It's a good job you didn't get
you.
bitten in the trussocks.
That's very true. Good afternoon to Steve, who says afternoon. Hello. Dorothy, hello, Dorothy.
Who's she?
You know who she is. Stop it.
Don't be so rude.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I quite agree, Mitchell. You should get the calamine lotion out.
Calamine, look, they were a really good band.
Oh.
Used to do the locomotion. The local lotion.
Steve reckons he's surprised that Martina hasn't bitten me. Now, don't you be rude.
Yeah, well, she probably has in the past.
Not going there. Ellie's there. Hello, Ellie.
Hello, Ellie.
Hello, Ellie.
Hello, Ellie.
Hello, Ellie.
He hasn't. No, you're quite right. He hasn't mentioned it yet. Thank God.
What, the Consumer Watch Foundation.com?
See what you've done now.
Read of it. It's brilliant. It's got a fabulous story about a very good friend of ours who did something very lovely and pleasant last night, and we witnessed it.
How much did you understand?
Not a word of it.
Oh dear! It's the first time, actually, to explain. We were at a business club meeting last night, and I guess 90% of the conversation was in Slovak.
And I was supposed to be reporting on it.
Yeah. And it was really funny because all I could hear in the background was people translating it for one lady was a Spanish lady and another one was an English lady, and so there was all this translation going on, and I've never experienced that before.
No, it was like being in the House of Commons or in the EU, wasn't it? It was like
It really was.
Yeah,
I was thinking what was going through my head was United Nations of all things, and he could do, and it was really good.
Really good event. Have a read in the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com about it, and also actually later today read about how the Consumer Watch Foundation is helping people who've suffered parental alienation in Slovakia. We've started the campaign. If it's not in today because of technical problems, it will begin next week. But we are standing up for people who victims of parental alienation in Slovakia. Tell us your stories.
Steve, that could be difficult. He's challenging you now.
Is he indeed?
Yeah. I challenged Lee to cover a local women's football match for CWF.
The problem is, I am more than happy to cover a local woman's football match.
Is the one?
Is she playing by herself, as it's a local woman?
I'm not sure. There is a girls' football team.
Where?
Here.
Oh, he means here.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
No, I don't think there is. Stop going.
Who is that?
That was me.
Dave.
No, not very professional, is he?
No, it's not. Not when you get your dingling out on radio.
Oh, good grief.
Oh, my Lord. It's gone bonkers. Thank you, everybody on you now. You're wonderful.
Yeah.
What we could do, Steve, is ask him to report on an ice hockey match, the girls' one.
Yeah.
The girls' ice hockey match, because they don't get a lot of coverage, and they should do.
I'm more than happy to do that. I have no idea about ice hockey other than I like it when they all fall over and fight.
The girls do that.
Naughty girls.
They do.
Naughty girls.
Actually, I know one of the girls from here ended up going to the European League in Paris. She was so good.
Did she put the puck in?
She did put the puck in.
Yeah, right. We saw the Queen do that, didn't we?
We did see the Queen play the puck.
Play the puck. Yes.
I was careful with that for obvious reasons, because otherwise I would have got into hot water for that. Talking of which, we found the Invisible Man.
Have we?
Yeah, he's on YouTube. You now, by the way. Hi to Eddie as well, and Benny, and Benny and the Jets. Who else is on there? Kroll. What does Kroll mean? I have no idea.
Kroll?
Larkstein. Ooh, that's nice. It's really cool. So we better get with some news anyway.
Oh, no.
Rules, you can't go into the change. Oh, yeah.
What's that, darling?
Important message. You're not allowed to go into the girls' changing room after the game. Not
Unless
allowed.
they're there.
No.
Oh.
And do we then, Eva?
What if we have to have an early bath?
You can go in the boys' toilets.
He's going to bath in the toilet.
Well, no,
because
because the gentleman's toilet in the ice hockey is where the bath thing is as well.
So the ladies have to have a quick rub down.
No, they go the ladies' bit.
That's even worse. You wish you hadn't said that now, don't you?
It's not as bad as the man on Radio 4 this week.
What's that?
Oh, that was funny.
Oh,
That
what?
was fun. Have you heard it, Dave?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. They got their wires crossed at the BBC.
Yeah.
Don't you know? And they'd got a programme on Radio 4. And in another studio, the man was complaining how very, very cold it was in the studio.
Oh, right.
And he said a word similar to, it's flipping cold.
Oh, no.
but the naughty one.
Yeah, the naughty.
And they got the wires crossed, and so lady who was on air at the time, she just carried on beautifully. Good afternoon, Stefan.
Hello, Stefan.
And she just carried on as if nothing had happened.
Yeah.
But then later on, she had to say sorry.
Why wasn't it her fault?
Well, no, it wasn't her fault, but it was just incredibly funny. Which reminds me, we will be hearing Shay Bradley later.
Who's he?
Oh,
Good
Shay,
question.
absolutely brilliant.
Does Dave know?
Does Dave know? I don't know.
No,
Who's
I've
Shay
no clue.
Bradley?
No idea.
No idea.
It's like
No.
a house you call a Shay Neuve.
No, it's not Chaise Long or anything like that. No, it's Shay Bradley from Ireland.
Shay Bradley, eh?
Shay. Hey, it'd be Shay.
Yeah, you're Shay, not a Shay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Shay.
Anyway, we'll get on with some news. Patrick Day has died of injuries after his fight with Charles Conwell. And, of course, that's come back with the usual thing. Oh, you got to stop boxing now?
Well, you know.
No.
Why?
Why do you have to stop it?
Because it has to be barbaric, doesn't it? That if what you're trying to do is knock another man out, there are times when you need to knock another man out. But to do it for sport, you know, Norman Mailer's one of my favourite writers, and he wrote lots about boxing. And even he had to say that to actually stand there and try and not disable somebody with a punch is not really sporting.
But it has been for decades.
Well, so
It's
was...
the Queensberry rules, you know.
Well, I know, but look what happened to him.
Well, that's true. Hi, Caesar.
Are you having a salad?
Could be. Dave, Steve wants
I know nothing. That's all I'm saying.
you've read the script off the blinking screen.
Yeah.
Oh, all
Fully
right.
in control of it.
Oh, all right then. Elijah Cummings has died. The congressman.
You could say that was his goings.
or is Tunbridge Wells arriving? He's sadly gone. Stephen Moore, the actor of The Hitchhiker's Guide, which is, I'm very proud to say, what's that thing that's on the TV now that everybody watches that there's an argument about?
Peaky Blinders.
No, not that one.
Care to give us a bit more of a clue?
Yeah, just a little bit more of a clue.
I am
Might
so.
help.
Everybody on Facebook is going around going, I've never watched this programme.
Well, that's what they always say. It's like nobody ever reads The Sun except for 60 million people.
Well, that's true. It was based on a game, Dave.
A game, Dave.
A game?
A game that became a TV show.
A game that became a TV show?
Yes,
Mm.
I just said that. And you
Really?
Yes, really.
I'm hoping for some inspiration, but what sort of game?
Somebody because he'll go on for hours like
Oh,
this.
God, I can see the name in my eyes, but I can't say it. It's ridiculous.
What's it? What happens in it?
I don't know.
Have you never watched it?
No.
What are you talking about then?
Well, because Hitchhiker's Guide is the same.
No, it's not.
It is. I've never
It's
watched.
not a game show.
I've never watched that either.
Well, then you've got no opinion.
Well, which must be rubbish because I never watched it.
Dave, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Whatever it was brilliant, yes.
The whole show looked for the answer to life. And then
Oh, are we back to the Hitchhiker's Guide now? Or
Yeah.
are we still doing this programme that nobody knows anything about?
No, we're back at the Hitchhiker because after
Oh,
months and months and years of searching for the answer to life, it turned out to be, what was it, 23?
Right.
No, it was 40-something, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's it, 40-something, yeah.
Right.
That's an age
To the
Eric will never
universe and
remember.
everything.
Do you remember being a 40-something?
No.
I was right then.
I passed that straight over. I went from being a horrible, salty little kid into a grumpy old git in 30 seconds. Emmerdale's actress Leah Bracknell has died. It's rather sad. 55 years old. It's rather sad.
She'd been fighting cancer for a long time. She had stage 4 lung cancer diagnosed in 2016. And give her a due. You've probably seen it, Dave. She because he won't have done.
I've never watched Emmerdale.
No, it's nothing to do with Emmerdale. She actually went public on the fact that she was dying.
Yeah, I got that bit, and I had to look up what the programme was because I can remember something about her name that people were talking about, and I'm going, who is she?
Well, she was the woman who was with the bloke in the posh house. I can't remember his name. The problem with Emmerdale is that the men all the men in Emmerdale, all they ever do is cry.
Is it?
Literally weep. Weeping,
right.
weeping, weeping.
Rightio. That's still. I don't do soaps.
I know. We've all told you should use soap at least once a day.
Very good. Apparently, Lee should be the next Doctor Who.
Who?
Well, he does look right, yeah.
No, I don't. I look like
Actually,
Jim Morrison.
he has got the long leather coat
I have.
that would
Has
suit a Doctor Who character.
I'll be Doctor Who.
Hey, and Dave, do you know what he bought the other week?
No, what?
I hate to think.
A scarf.
What's he got?
Oh, I did.
Is it a long, stripy one?
No.
It is long.
No, it isn't. It's a little short.
It's stripy and medium size.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I'll be Doctor Who. Let's have a vote for Lee to be Doctor Who. Who is he?
No. Good afternoon. Steve has just joined us as well.
Who's Steve?
Steve Melrose.
Hello, Steve.
Hello,
Blimey,
Steve.
He's being posh now.
Hello,
I used
Steve.
to see Tom Baker on the train a lot.
Did you?
Sorry, random statement.
Random show. Anyway, we move on. Here we go. Watch the sparks begin to fly.
This is good.
Climate protesters were dragged from the top of London Underground train, and I love the video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because the one they've got on YouTube now, someone's edited it all together. They've got the colloquially known as the bear pit in the stock exchange.
Yeah.
And there's all the buyers in there about to make lots of money, and they're looking at the screen. And there's the protester on the screen. He gets dragged off, and the whole of the bear pit jumps up in the air and goes, yes! And they're quite right.
Did it look like he was getting a bit beaten up as well? I thought that.
It did to me, but
Yeah.
I've got to admit that they've lost the plot.
Absolutely.
They have lost
yeah,
the plot.
yeah.
They really have. And I'm going to ask Dave because he's been involved in it as well. But you know, when you go pretending to be like Monty Python and the Funny Walks around Trafalgar Square or somewhere in the Stones, then you got this other one that looks like he's off his face on Bob Marley music, pretending to sort of. Well, he was. Well, I can't think of a true word. He was definitely trying to wind the police up anyway.
Yeah.
And he was just baiting the police, really, to have a go. And I don't think he'd ever washed his hair in a year.
The thing is, you have to remember this group. One of their main statements is that they are people who are willing to be arrested for their beliefs, because in that way they will get more publicity. And so they deliberately create situations where they may well be arrested. Mm-hmm. The thing with the train that really, really wound me up is because of the timing of it all, because it was commuter time. What you've got to remember in London is that a lot of people, the bulk of young people, are on 0 hours contracts. And they couldn't get to work because of these protests. Now, that meant that, A, they've lost a day's money, B, they could lose the contract, and C, it was just a massive inconvenience and loss to other people for some smug, middle-aged jerk who was sitting on top of a train and spouted about something patent he probably didn't know about.
I think the crux of it is, and again there was a joke about it on social media, where it said, the police have cleared the whole of Tower Bridge. Yeah. They put a job centre on there. And I thought that was brilliant, because it kind of summed it up. Because these people, they're not getting the notion that it's a perfectly good thing to protest, and it's the right of people to protest. But when you're interfering with other people's lives in what is apparently a completely unrelated thing, because they're just going there to protest, then you upset the public.
That's right, and it's their credo is disruption is necessary to highlight the emergency. Well, I'm telling you, all you Extinction Rebellion people, write in to the Consumer Watch Foundation. We will, in written word, edited by me, will tell your stories and tell a lot of people about your feelings, why you're taking this action. And you know what? You'll get more people sympathetic to what you're doing rather than destroying people's days and potentially losing them the jobs, and also just looking like a load of... What word can I use that's really rude?
I actually, a lot of people have been using the word hippie, and I have to say that that's an insult to hippies.
I am a hippie.
Oh.
And I've never sat on top of a train.
Have you not?
Well, not knowingly.
Not knowingly, I was going to say, yeah, there's probably a reason why you did, but that's for another completely other thing. I've got the chat room on now on YouTube. Sorry, boys.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Steve
Mitchell's
said,
right.
Mitchell's right. What did Mitchell say?
Mitchell Davis has said, protesting countries that aren't dealing with it. Because let's face it, we are dealing with the environmental thing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, why glue yourself to the top of an electric train?
I have no idea.
Unless it's on the floor in your lounge.
Well, because that seems a bit stupid, really. Because
the tubes in the DLR are part of the solution, surely.
Well, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well said.
Well, they are.
So
because
if they're part of the solution, let's break it. So we all go and get in a cab.
Hang on. It's a multi-person carrying vehicle that runs on electricity.
That's right. We don't want to disturb those HGVs that run on oil and diesel, do we?
Well, how stupid are they then?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Well said, Dave.
I don't disagree with you, Steve. The planet does need a bit of help.
Of course it does.
And it, it's not the sustaining bit at the moment that's the major issue. The first issue is, if you don't do something shortly, the world will run out of fuels. And the first one being oil. So that if you don't transfer, everything's going to go pear-shaped. So you've got to get on with it anyway. And, the saving of the planet thing comes in second. But the thrust of it is, for the planet to have what it has now, it's got to deal with things so the fuel's available in the future. Now, hang on. Rafical.
That's a cool name.
Saudi Arabia. He joined in there. Ooh, he's a brave person. You're very brave. Thank you. You're welcome. Protesting countries that aren't dealing with it are rife. And the issue is this is back to the old thing. If you look at places like China, the amount of coal and steel they import, a lot of it from Australia, is absolutely huge. And yet they do nothing to bring their carbon footprint down. Whereas the UK's busting its boiler over it, literally. That was a pun. And the reality is that the odd percentage that the UK and Slovakia even more so, because the Slovaks are so eco-friendly, they're not going to do anything to offset the Chinese. So you've got to get the bigger countries like America and China and the Middle East to all get involved, because if they don't get involved, nothing's going to change. Having said that, if you look back in history, in the I think it was the middle of the 1980s, there was global warming reports pouring out saying that certain countries wouldn't exist by 2020. That's only a few months away.
Well, he says,
and they do exist.
Well, nothing like that is going to happen. I did my first ecological story for a very tiny paper called the Chester Chronicle back in 1976 when I was training to be a journalist. And it was one of the first times a group had stood up and said, look, this dried up river, the River Dee had dried up. That was amazing that it had dried up. Lakes were drying up around the place. They said, look, this has to do with something called climate change. That was 1976. Now, the disgusting thing is that people like Extinction Rebellion are forgiven in a way, not for their actions, but for their need to do something by the fact 76, 86, 96, 106, 40 years ago, this problem was highlighted as a problem, and everybody's just ignored it until now. We're ending up in a dystopian world.
That's a posh word. Steve reckons China is getting involved. They're replacing all their coal-fired power stations and encouraging people to buy electric cars. They are to a degree, Steve, and then when you go to the other side of it and look at their huge transmitter systems, the way that people outside of the main conurbations where China thinks that's the only place we look at, it makes no odds. They are still using fossil fuels there.
Of course they are, yeah.
And it will take a very, very long time for China to catch up with the rest of the world that are doing it.
Why don't we ask Dave about electric cars in China?
Go on then.
I have.
Oh, is that a direct question? China. Well, they, I believe, is it China own the MG brand now?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're bringing out an electric vehicle very, very soon. In fact, I saw it earlier in the year. And that is very cool. And that does about 200 miles. And it's actually a reasonably priced and a car that will actually go a reasonable amount of distance and looks pretty good. It's basically a small SUV type car. And that could be the solution.
Small
what we
SUV.
need is cheaper electric cars so people can go out and buy them. The infrastructure as far as charging and everything is now coming together. There have been loads of electric points prop up near me recently and all over the place.
Yeah,
so
right.
electric is the future at the moment, unless somebody can come up with something else.
Yeah.
The cars are being built, but they are expensive. We will put that down. But as time goes on, they will get cheaper.
Yeah. I'm just trying to work it out now. For somebody like me, hi. Oh, sorry, I haven't said hello to Graham. Hello, Graham.
Hello, Graham.
Hello, Graham.
I'm
I mean,
just
how many miles do you do a day?
I don't do any miles a day. I do kilometres. I have done, because we were only laughing about it last night, because the boss got in the car. I was giving him a ride back to the hotel. And he said, how many kilometres is it? You know, his first word were, have you still got this car? Like, I should have swapped it. And I've gone, yeah, well, it's not worth swapping it yet. He said, why not? I said, look. He looked over at the dashboard. It is 4 years old next June, and it's done 21,000 kilometres, which is about 18,000 miles.
Yeah.
So by the time it gets to 4 years old, it will probably have done 20,000 miles in 4 years.
My 4-litre diesel guzzling car
Yes.
has done 135,000 miles, or kilometres, sorry, and it's had its emissions tested, and it is as clean as an electric car.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird. But coming back to your plot, it would do, you reckon, 200 miles, Dave?
It does about 200 miles, I believe,
It's not
yes.
very far, that, though, is it, Dave?
No.
Yeah, but how many miles do you do in one hit?
Well, I
Do
don't
you
know.
seriously drive 200 miles between stops
I've
or
got to
more?
say, when I worked at the Mirror...
Yeah, but hang on a minute. If I was doing a 200 mile... Normally, I can go from this side of the country, where I live in Poprad, to Bratislava, which is the other side of the country, and back. And I don't need petrol for that.
Well, how far's that?
That's
The
about
uninitiated.
450 kilometres.
Well, I drove
But
from
my
here.
point is, I don't need petrol for that.
No, I understand
But
that,
when you
yeah.
get to the other end,
Yes.
so
No,
you've
I-
gone over
you're-
there.
you're
How long are you there for?
You're misunderstanding. I didn't say petrol. I said Petra.
No, I thought you said that, but I couldn't work that out.
Well, because I never fill my car up. I'll send my PA out to fill it
That
up.
was a bit
Oh,
of
God,
that.
really?
Dave, I want to ask you a sensible question, right?
Go on.
right.
You have to bear in mind that I'm the petrol head end of Max Regen. So
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, but how much would it cost? Like, I've got to go back to Britain. I've worked out the diesel to go back to Britain. It will cost, which is 2,000 miles. That's fair, isn't it? Say
It's 2,000 kilometres, actually.
2,000 kilometres. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in miles, what, about 1,700?
Yeah, roughly.
1,700 miles, right? It will cost me £235 in diesel. That's not a lot for that to me, because my car's very good. Now, how much would it cost in electric, in recharging at 200 miles a time? 10 times that.
That's the point. How much is it?
How much would it cost, Dave?
How much is a refill cost?
What, for electric? That's what I'm asking him.
Yeah, I know.
But let me speak, gang. Come on.
He moaned last week.
He just moaned
No, Dave moaned last week.
I know he did. I was listening.
Yeah, you said I can't get a word in edgeways.
I know.
Well, no comment, really. We did a. Shut up, the lot of you. Right, we did a trip to
he's
Wales
being a Rach
on
now.
Max Regen.
He's being a Rachel now.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why I'm bothering. And we worked out that it's about a third of the cost of it would have been if it was petrol. So it's about a third of the cost.
So how much does it cost to fill up for 200 miles? Come on, answer the question.
Well, it really depends on where you fill up. Are you
average.
charging at home? Are you charging at an ecotricity point or a polar point or wherever? But we charged the Leaf up.
Just
and
answer the question.
About three or four quid for a full charge, but that only does about 80
so
miles.
it's £6. So right, it does make a difference.
About £6 for about 200 miles, or 6 to 10 quid.
That's not bad.
Well, that's £100 compared to 235.
I
isn't it?
suppose where I park at home, as you know, I park my car right. If I could get my car any closer to the front door, it wouldn't be possible. It is that close, isn't it?
That's right. So you could plug it in through your letterbox.
So it would be totally full when you go to leave, and then you drive your 200 miles. Bearing in mind that it takes us about 30 minutes, 35 minutes to charge the Leaf up.
Yeah. But a newer car is going to be quicker, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So as long as you're going to be busy for at least an hour, I would guess, you should be fine.
Yeah, and as Keith quite rightly said, it also depends on the car. Good afternoon, Keith.
Good afternoon, Keith.
Because
hello, Keith.
The bigger car uses more energy. The smaller cars, like the Leaf, which is very, very small, is more economic.
Are you going to be comfortable travelling in a Leaf 2,000 miles?
Well,
I was really surprised because I thought the Leaf would be quite uncomfortable because I've got a bad back, and we went to Wales in a day. And normally, if I'd have done that in a small car, I would have been totally and utterly crippled. But in this case, I got out the other end and I was fine.
Last question.
And what's really surprising is it's got a massive boot. That Nissan Leaf that JB owns has a massive boot.
Right.
He goes out
So you
filming.
can take a
We've got
passenger.
loads of film kit that we take out, which we could never fit in the boot of his Kia Sportage. But it all fits in the boot of a Nissan Leaf without putting the seats down.
I have to say the Nissan boot sort of size is pretty good, and it's
It's amazing.
Still a Nissan.
Well, I got two of them.
Hang on, I want to one last question.
All right, then I've got to say hello. I've got to say hello, girls. Then
Hello, girls.
Hello, girls.
no, the message is to us.
Oh, hello.
They're saying hello to us three as girls.
Charming.
Thank you.
Hello, Keith.
Just a last question, right?
Yeah.
Tesla
This
is the way
sounds-
to go, Keith, but it's very expensive.
Yeah, it is. Tesla is too much.
Tesla, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Nice looking car. It looks like a Jag, doesn't it? Anyway, last question. Quite seriously, Dave. You know when, like, you get to the end of your charge, you're coming up to your 200 miles,
Yeah.
does the car start to go slower and slower and slower?
No, well, when you're driving along, you've got this thing that's called the GOM, which is a guessometer, which tells you how many miles. It's a bit like how far your car will go in a petrol or a diesel car.
Yeah.
You can see how many miles you've got to go. Once you get to about 15, 20 miles to go, you start getting a warning light on the dashboard like you would do if you were running out of petrol. And when you get down to about 8 miles, I think it is, in the Nissan Leaf, it starts shutting down the non-essentials. So
Like
the
the
stereo
driver.
will go off. The heating
I
will
might
go
be in the middle of a song.
Yeah. And also, you've got to then make a map of where the points are. So, like in my gas-guzzling diesel 4-litre, whatever it is, I can go on one road from here to Britain, basically, just like that. Go that fast, the police don't see me, so I don't get stopped, right? But in yours, you'd have to take a circuitous route from somewhere where you could keep plugging it in.
Well, you do with the Leaf, because it only does 80 miles, but then it is 4 or 5 years old.
But even if you're doing 10, you'd have to do 10 stops on 2,000 miles.
So, in your 2,000 miles, Lee, what you're saying is you don't stop. You don't need to go to the loo. You don't need to have a drink.
You do have to stop.
No, I have a bottle.
No, you have to stop.
I do it old style.
You do have to stop.
Why?
Well, unless your car is also amphibious, you will have to stop at the ferry crossing to get across.
I'm talking about... I have to stop once.
So you don't stop to go to the loo, then?
No, I don't have a 2-hour bladder, David.
Oh, I have no idea what this means, Keith, because I don't know the car. BMW 13, best car I've ever driven, bar
That's an
none.
i3, you idiot. That's an I, not a 1.
What is it?
The i3 is an electric car as well. They're really cool. The police
it is?
have a
I'm
load of
sorry.
them.
Oh, no.
In fact, hilariously, linking back, when Extinction and Rebellion were at Oxford Circus earlier in the year with their pink boat, all the police turned up in their i3s, which I thought was very cool.
Oh,
That's neat.
The police did?
That's neat.
The police and the fire brigade in central London have i3s, which are electric cars.
Brilliant.
And
totally electric. Yeah, electric cars, tasers. Yeah.
And what do the police
so
have
the
here?
i3, you can get in 2 flavours. Now you can only just buy an electric one, but you can get one with a petrol-engined range extender.
A hybrid.
A little engine in the back, which will not power the car to drive it, but will power it enough to charge the battery.
No, that's a good idea.
Oh, so it's a self-charging.
Yes.
Oh, I kind of like that.
That's good. You can't do that with diesel. You can't have a self-filling, can you?
Well, no, because then if you did that...
You'd have to have another tank.
No, because if we did that, then I wouldn't need to take petrol with me if I went to Bratislava.
Yeah.
She could stay working here, and then she could just fill it up with the petrol thing when I get back.
You could buy her a helicopter and she could follow you and hover over you.
No, she'd drop bombs. She'd drop bombs.
There'd be a long queue of people to do that.
Apparently Keith's son and his wife both have the i3.
Cool.
Aye.
They are wicked cool cars.
Are they expensive?
What, electric cars?
I don't know. No, the i3 specifically.
What is the i3?
Oh, no, it's a BMW. I can't have one of them.
Oh, why? Is it a little one? Is it a very little one?
It's funny, they call them like stormtroopers because they look a bit like a stormtrooper.
They do, I know, yeah.
If you
Why
get
do
one of
they
the
look
white
like a
ones, they
stormtrooper?
are very cool.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they look quite cool. I've sat in one. I can't say I've driven one.
The one thing that I would love about the modern electric cars, not the old ones, the modern ones, is the way they take off. Because, I mean, you put your foot on the gas and zoom, they're gone.
No, rubbish.
Excuse me?
They don't, they go...
Dave, tell him.
I was watching BBC Click last weekend, and they did an electric car special.
Did they?
And they put a Tesla up against... I think it was an Aston Martin, no, it was a Lamborghini. Guess which one they beat over 60, about 600 metres or something.
Yeah.
The Lambo was left in the Tesla's dust.
Yeah, it would be.
That's a Tesla, though.
No, but all electric cars
But
are
all
like that.
electric cars are the same.
A Leaf
Think of a
goes,
light bulb.
Dave.
Think of a light bulb, Lee. When you turn a light bulb on, does it fade up slowly?
Mine
Unless
do.
you've got a dimmer switch.
Oh,
It comes straight on, doesn't it?
All
Well, it's an
right.
electric motor. You've got exactly the same thing. With your petrol car or your diesel car, it's having to burn fuel, create a spark, make the piston move, and it slowly builds
You
up
can't
its
drive
speed.
when you like that.
You have to go suck, squeeze, bang, blow.
That's terrible.
It's the
Where with
truth.
your electric car, the power's all there, so you just floor it. It goes off like a rocket.
Amazing.
Keith, I totally agree with you.
I've
Dave's
capitulated, Dave.
right. They all have instant talk. Let me explain this to everybody so you understand it. One time we go up the road to where he's living now, and I go round the traffic lights, go up the hill, and it's a hill, and he says, "Oh, you should get arrested for driving like that." And I'm thinking, I'm not going fast.
No, but you're on the wrong side of the road.
I wasn't on the wrong side of the road.
He should be arrested for driving anyway. No one should be allowed to drive.
Honestly, the acceleration, it hits you in the back of the head with an electric car.
Excuse me, going up the high Tatras Mountains in my 4-litre guzzling whatever it is thing. Yeah, my friend was in the car and I was like gunning it up the mountains like that. And every time I put my foot down, his head had hit the back of the seat like that.
Yeah, I know.
And he says, "Take it out of sport mode." I said, "I don't have sport mode, dear."
Well, that's
Going back to the question about the i3, which started the argument, I believe they're about 36 grand on the road. Which is why they're still... They've got to bring the price down.
They have got to.
Didn't pay that much for a Bentley.
But I suppose it makes sense because technically they're a giant-sized computer.
Well, it's a giant-sized computer, and don't forget, this is still reasonably in its infancy, so you're still into the research and development time.
Yeah, so you're paying for that on top as you would do with any form of new technology. You think when the video machine came out, it was expensive. When CD players came out, expensive. Satellite boxes. First digital satellite boxes retailed at over £700. And within a couple of years, they were down to 30.
I bought my
ridiculous.
first video machine, that going back to 1970 odd.
Yep.
Or in the 80s. Would it be the 80s? I'll tell you what it was. I bought it because the band's... a film about the band in concert was being played on TV. And it was one of those rarer things. Van Morrison was there, all sorts were there, Neil Young. And because it was doing quite well, I went out and bought a video machine. It was £365.
They were. And it was just... And when you think of the first CD player...
Called The Last Waltz, the film. Just thought to check.
I'm not interested in that. I mean, when
Well, I am, and some of the readers might be, and the listeners.
What readers?
The people who read what we say.
Right, okay. Rashid says, "Hi, I'm from Pakistan. A good show. You're, well, very kind
Very
of you."
nice of you to say so. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rashid.
We like you.
We do.
I bet Lee backed
Betamax. Yeah, very true.
It was a lot better. We had Betamax in this house.
Mine was VHS, actually.
VHS was the cheap, nasty, horrible-looking one.
Yeah.
Betamax at least had good picture quality.
Yes.
My children used to think it was wonderful to put biscuits inside it.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
You can tell how he was looking after his children, can't you?
Yeah.
So bored. Apparently.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. We've got the answer. Go on, Dave.
Keith has just said it cost his son £3 to visit him in Birmingham, and his son lives in Preston. So there you go, £3
From Preston.
On
In an i3.
in an i3.
Well, that's 65, 75, 85, about 90 miles. That's pretty good, really.
It's good.
Yeah. In fact, it corroborates Dave's statement of £6.
So what you're telling me is you didn't believe him the first time?
I just
Maybe
believed
he
it. I
should
was
have
just
watched
talking to him.
Yes.
Maybe you should have watched Max Regen, because we cover all of this. That was subtle, wasn't it?
I'd watch Max.
Nah,
Regen.
Keith, I don't lease cars. We only buy them.
Yeah.
Well, we do lease them in the beginning, and then we pay the 1 month, and that's it.
Yeah.
But even so, I still look at the. No, actually, my one. No, we bought that. We bought mine because I got it down from 24,000 original to 18.
I got mine down from 136,000.
Yeah,
right,
but yours was second hand.
to just under 10,000.
Yeah, right. I'm talking of a new car. Should I have bought the car new at the time? It was 24,000, the Nissan, but I beat the salesman up so well that we got it down to 18, and he was like puffing and panting and having to run to his manager all the time. And he came back the last time and said, "You cannot have any more off, otherwise I have to take some of the extras out." And I went, Oh, right, then we'll stay where we are. But,
Can I ask Lee a question?
Go on then.
Well, you're going to anyway, aren't you?
Well, yes. So last weekend, this is a useless fact, JB, who lives down in East Dean, went up to see his folks in a place called Shillington and back.
Yeah.
Shillington?
Yes.
My Shillington?
Yeah.
Anyway, he did about 150.
He went to my Shillington?
I think I may have got this wrong.
Yes, I was born there.
I don't know where his parents live. It's sort of... hang on.
He lived in Shillington. Now I lived in Poundton because I'm richer than him.
Where did he really go?
I'm trying to remember now, because
You
I didn't go with him. But anyway...
Was it
he went up-
Bedfordshire?
It was Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire way.
It
Anyway,
could be Shillingford.
Oh.
Because that's in Cambridgeshire, Dave, and you'll be right.
Anyway, carry on, Dave. This was a
Anyway,
question
so
for me.
he went
That was
all the way
really-
up there and back again last weekend in his electric Leaf. And sadly, when he got to the charging points en route, the charging points weren't working correctly and couldn't contact the base.
Yeah.
So basically, he got what's classed as free vend, which is where you just plug the car in, it charges it up, and they don't charge it.
Nice.
And this happened to everyone he went to. So, Lee, can you do, let's say, a 300-mile round trip and not pay anything for your fuel?
Well, no, of course I can't. No. David,
So you can with the
I've
negative.
capitulated to your point. I accepted your point.
Yes.
But also, why don't they fix, those things you used to have on bikes when you pedalled, a dynamo, right?
Yeah.
And that'd charge your car, your bike.
They have
They
them on
do.
they have them on electric cars.
Well, they are.
They do on
dynamos.
electric cars.
When
That's
you-
why
when
the
you
show is
brake.
called Max Regen.
Regenerating.
Called
Why do you have to go and
Maximum
plug it in then?
Regeneration.
No, because you might go up lots of hills before you go down one.
That's
So-
stupid.
No.
So when you're driving, Lee, if you have it in maximum regen mode,
Yeah.
you drive along. If you're going down a hill in your car normally, you'd take your foot off the accelerator and it would begin
I
to
wouldn't.
go down. Well, no, you wouldn't. And you might need to brake if you were to try and keep within the speed limit.
Yeah.
With an electric car, you take your foot slowly off the accelerator and you don't use the brake because that's when the motors start regenerating because it can feel that you're pulling
Only
your
when you
foot off the
brake?
accelerator.
When you slow down. No, you don't have to
When
brake.
you're slowing down.
You don't actually
So
have to
it
brake.
regenerates.
Why don't you have like pedals instead of a steering wheel, so you can steer with it and pedal with your hands, and that'll charge
Right,
as well.
let's try and we'll try and help him out. You know, in my car, there's a little there's two dashboards. One at the bottom with a little thing going up, a yellow thing. The battery, it's like a battery charge thing.
No,
There is
I've never seen
in
it.
front of the gear stick.
Okay,
Right, next time.
Yeah. I've driven your car.
We're getting there now.
It's
Now,
rubbish.
when you take your foot off the gas,
Yeah.
and you will see that little yellow line go up and up and up and up and up till it eventually reaches the top. If you drive gently, it doesn't go back down again. If you hit the pedal hard, you will watch it go down
Yeah.
because that's recharging the electric turbo in the car.
I've just thought of something really disgusting to say to that.
I
but
thought
I
you
didn't. I didn't say it.
Really?
Yeah, really. Hang on. So, actually, Mitchell was asking about the life of batteries versus the engine.
Ooh, what a good point.
I don't know that.
Which lasts longer, your battery or your engine?
Well, it doesn't really have an engine; it has motors in it. That's a very good question because I've often wondered how long the motors will actually last. But I know most of the cars come with a guarantee on their batteries, which is something like 100,000 miles or 10 years.
Oh, that'd be all right.
And
And-
how long does the ordinary battery last on a car? Yeah, about, yeah.
Yes, it's not so far off wrong.
But
really.
in a motor and engine? When you say, it doesn't have an engine, it has motors.
Well, a lot of the newer cars have four motors. They have
What do you mean
on-
by motors?
like a motor, a big electric motor.
That's an
You know,
engine.
like you have an electric motor in, say, your washing machine.
Yeah, your washing
Make it
machine.
spin
Oh,
the
so that's it. We finally got there. Electric cars are washing machines. I rest my case.
Well, I suppose in a lot of ways they are similar because they all have a commutator. That's good. Dave, that's floored him.
A radio commutator.
No, commutator. Commutator. So they all have brushes and commutators like a normal motor. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
He's out of his depth. I got him.
I'm not out of my depth. I am not driving around in a washing machine.
We were using the idea of a washing machine to demonstrate the idea of something with an electric motor in it,
Yes.
dear boy.
What happens if you spin it or roll it?
Actually, come to think of it, unless you do a Richard Hammond on an experimental vehicle, when you roll over in an electric car, it would technically be safer.
Your clothes will dry.
Because you would not have petrol and fuel and oils in the car to ignite.
What if you got a nasty shock?
Well,
It's harder to roll an electric car because most of the weight
a
of
washing
the
machine
car
doesn't
is
do
the
any
batteries.
speed.
Yeah, it's actually
Most of the batteries are in the floor pan, which
pan.
gives it its weight.
Yeah, which actually puts the centrifugal force lower down.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think we're going to go into physics now, Dave. That'll get him.
I can understand physics.
Right, let's move on, boys and girls. Because believe it or not, we have done.
There's a surprise.
No, what I'm going to do now is very quickly, and I'm going to work from bottom to top, so we've got room to do some gossips about other bits and bobs. Mark Zuckerberg's been talking this week. The interesting thing was he kept referring to the internet when he was talking about Facebook, meaning he's lost the plot completely, and he only thinks the only thing around is an interweb. A driver's been, or is facing a £5,000 penalty fine for veering into a puddle to soak a pedestrian. Good, hope he gets nicked.
That was in Stafford, where I used
It
to
was
live.
an Audi driver that
explains it all.
Yeah, because your electric car would have fizzled out then, would it? It had shorted.
A lady suing
No.
the highways department because of this smart motorways thing. Sadly, this lady's husband died on the hard shoulder.
Quite
and
a
I've got
few.
to say, for years, the advice has been, even if you park on the hard shoulder, you get out of the car and you walk up the grass. It's been there for too long. Absolutely. The health and safety police have been out again. A health sign or a warning sign that has been ruled inadequate after a woman who leaned out of a train died when she was struck by a tree. Those signs have been there for ages. If you can't read them, you shouldn't be on the train in the first place. End of debate.
It's a bit harsh.
No.
You don't deserve
How
to
did
get
she
your-
open a window to lean out? Most of them are sealed.
Well, I know that. I mean, this is tragic. A guy has fallen to his death after the undercarriage of a plane was lowered. He fell out. Don't laugh.
I didn't laugh.
You nearly did. Police have now issued an e-fit of him to try and find out who the gentleman in question is. And I've got to do this one very quickly because I'm there now. Mourners who attended a funeral of a man in Ireland were left in shock when they heard this.
Hello? 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 Let me out! Where the am I? Hello? Hello? Let me out! Dark in here! Where the am I? Is that priest I can hear? Let me out! Hello? Hello? Stop, I can hear you! Hello? Hello? Please! Hello? Who's there? Hello? Easy, shame me, I'm in the box. No, I'm in front of you, I'm there. You're gonna hear that. Hello again, hello. I just called to say goodbye. I'm going to die, I'm afraid to say hello again, hello.
Absolutely flipping brilliant. I'll tell you what, young sir, wherever you are in whatever part of the universe, Shay, you've just made us all laugh when we're having a rotten, horrible week. Andrew reckons we've turned into the Grand Tour. Because we're talking about cars. I get it now. That's all right.
Yeah.
A High Court judge, which includes me as well, has apologised after his mobile phone started ringing during a hearing. Guess what? It was an old 1960s tune. The poor people of the UK have been suffering as the 3 networkers crashed and gone all bonkers. And Paul Gascoigne has been cleared of sexual assault on a train journey where he kissed a passenger, saying or claiming that he was just being nice because people were picking on her and going, it's really not nice because, look, she was a big girl. And the stupid Culture Secretary, Nicky Morgan, has hinted that the BBC could have their licence fee axed and turned into a Netflix-style subscription service. Idiot woman.
Why? Why is that?
Then who's going to be the state broadcaster then?
Thank you very much
Netflix,
indeed. Yeah, just give it all to America. Why not? The dark web has been the place for hundreds of rather nasty paedophile people, 38 countries. But as I mentioned several times, it's very easy to get on the dark web, and at which point you can find all sorts of stuff.
Former Nazi, know your onions.
Very good. Former Nazi guard has gone on trial over the death of more than 5,000 prisoners at the World War II concentration camp in Poland. I don't believe that's going to do a lot of good, but there you go. And then we come on to the happenings of tomorrow, which is the first time in forever that Parliament in the UK will be sitting on a Saturday. It's all to do with the new Brexit deal, and I have to say, I found this quite funny. Before the new deal was actually published, meaning nobody had seen it, they hadn't even sent it from Brussels, Jeremy Corbyn said it's a rubbish deal.
I know.
What a numpty. Jeremy, get your people to brief you properly. Whoever briefed you on that and said it's out were stupid. So you then end up looking stupid because the people in Brussels went... And I tell you how bad it was. It reminds me of a radio story from the 1960s when Kenny Everett was in the newsroom and the BBC were going, I'm sure they're nicking our news. I'm sure they're nicking our news. So they did this story. The hole has appeared in Oxford Street. Police are looking into it. He runs down the studio, does the same thing. There's a hole in Oxford Street that's appeared, and police are looking down in it. And, of course, the BBC had got them. Jeremy, it's the same thing, mate. You have got to check your facts. Otherwise, your advisors are giving you a bum steer. Last time was 1982, says Steve. Thanks for that. So anyway, there is a new Brexit deal. It is very different to the old one if you read through it, which we did yesterday as it came out.
As I have to say, the Consumer Watch Foundation had a letter off Claude Van Damme.
How quickly did we have that?
Yeah, exactly. Within seconds, the letter was up and also was the story. We were up there with every national newspaper and the BBC. We were contemporaneous with us. That's really good. And I'm proud of Eric for doing it, and I'm proud of us.
We did well, didn't we?
We did.
We did do rather well with that. An MP has stood up and said, who's paying for the childcare on Saturday? Nobody, you buffoon. You can just do some extra work for the country.
Yeah, all right then.
Well, why should they get childcare payments on a Saturday? Flipping heck.
Yeah.
Anyway, whichever way it goes, and it's now starting to get very interesting because the DUP, who thought they held all the cards, apparently don't. There's Labour Party members already saying they're going to vote with the Conservative Party. Well, not actually with the Conservative Party, but with the plan that's come back from Brussels, because they see it as a very socialist plan now. That's how they're seeing it. So it's going to be interesting. One will be reporting on it, hopefully, as it goes along. And up until then, what are you up to this weekend then, Dave?
I'm off to the Royal Albert Hall this evening to go see Settling the Score with the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra. And then tomorrow I'm off doing some filming.
That's lovely, David.
That's very posh.
I hope you didn't see the look on his face.
It was posh.
It's lovely.
Oh, no, it's good, isn't it?
Nothing wrong with a bit of good music. You should try it sometime.
Basically, they're going to be... it's a fight between Michael Giacchino and David Arnold, and they'll be playing the best of their movie and TV themes. So
which, of course, David's very into.
Yeah,
he does like them.
He likes those studio things.
He does, doesn't he? He really does.
Yeah.
So you're going to be all culturally next week, then?
I'm culturally tonight, and then I will be hanging around cars tomorrow, filming them and filming people.
Right. I've got to say hello quickly to my namesake, Eric, who's on the chat room. Hello, Eric.
Hello, Eric.
And also to Gina, Dimitri, And Sam. I can't. Sorry, guys. I just can't squeeze everybody in. It's just not humanly possible. What are you up to, Lee?
Well,
it was St. Neots, by the way.
St. Neots.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, you were close.
Yes.
Send us some of your videos, Dave, and we'll put them on the consumerwatchfoundation.com. I will be watching, no I won't, I'll be listening to Slovak Voices at 11 p.m. on Sunday evening, talking about sex and Slovakia.
All right. Well, I will be joining the Manchester United team that are here in Poprad, and sitting watching Liverpool and Manchester United on Sunday, and various other bits and pieces. And I can't think of anything else I'll do. I might wash the car.
I might wash mine.
Might be good. Say goodbye,
you'll
Dave.
Get a shock off yours
Goodbye,
if you wash
Dave.
yours, Dave.
Dave hasn't got an electric car. Let him do it again. You can 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, Dave. 3, 2, 1.
Goodbye, Dave.
Lee.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much indeed. That was Postcard from Poprad for another week. We'll come back here in 6 and a bit days and so many hours and so many minutes. Until then, have a nice one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.